In the glamorous world of old Hollywood, some of the biggest stars were unexpectedly fired from their iconic roles, often for bizarre, scandalous reasons. From actors deemed unfit for leading roles to those whose personal battles made them unmanageable, these are the stories Hollywood tried to erase. So how did it all go wrong? Joan Crawford, teased into illness. Joan Crawford and Bette Davis were already known for their rivalry, but during the filming of Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte, their animosity became impossible to ignore. Davis, known for her outspoken nature, constantly criticized Crawford's acting to both her face and the crew. The pressure of this on-set feud led Crawford to internalize the stress to an alarming degree. Eventually, it became so overwhelming that Crawford fell seriously ill, battling a fever and coughing relentlessly. The strain was so much that she had to leave the set and check into Cedars of Lebanon Hospital. But when it became clear that the film was losing money fast due to delays, the studio gave an ultimatum: either replace Crawford or shut the film down. The studio fired her, and Olivia de Havilland was brought in. Crawford learned of her dismissal from a gossip columnist, a humiliating blow that deeply affected her career. Clara Bow, fired after a horrendous trial. Clara Bow, the iconic it girl of the 1920s, was once the most sought-after star in Hollywood. Known for her beauty and carefree flapper style, she captivated audiences in silent films like Wings and Love Among the Millionaires. However, her life took a dramatic turn when a scandal involving her personal finances unraveled in the early 30s. Bow's former secretary, Daisy DeVoe, was caught stealing over $20,000 in cash, letters, and jewelry. Bow was forced to go through a public trial, during which her extravagant spending habits and private letters were exposed. The trial embarrassed her deeply, and the toll it took on her mental health led her to check into a sanatorium. Afterward, Paramount Pictures fired her from her next film, City Streets, and she was effectively pushed out of Hollywood. Bow retired from acting, retreating to a quieter life away from the spotlight. Vivien Leigh, fired due to bipolar disorder. Vivien Leigh, the celebrated actress behind the iconic Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, found herself facing a devastating career crisis in the late 1940s. Despite her incredible success, Leigh's personal life was marked by turbulent mental health struggles. Her bipolar disorder, which she had long battled in silence, began to affect her work on set. During the filming of Elephant Walk, producers and co-stars witnessed Leigh's erratic behavior firsthand. Her emotional outbursts, sudden mood shifts, and violent temper flared up frequently. The situation became so unmanageable that her husband, Laurence Olivier, was called in to help, but even his presence couldn't stabilize her. As the film's production continued, Leigh's condition worsened. She was eventually fired from the project and replaced by Elizabeth Taylor. This marked a turning point in Leigh's career, as her mental health struggles led to her being written out of some major roles in Hollywood. Laurence Olivier, not good enough for Garbo. In the early 1930s, Laurence Olivier was a newcomer to the silver screen, despite his massive success on the British stage. He was cast alongside Greta Garbo in Queen Christina, with Garbo herself approving him for the role. But after filming a love scene together, Garbo decided Olivier wasn't up to her level. The legendary actress, known for her unmatched skill and poise, didn't think Olivier's performance measured up. In a TV interview years later, Olivier admitted that he simply wasn't good enough for Garbo. She was an absolute master of her craft, and he realized he couldn't compete with her on screen. The role of Don Antonio was quickly recast with actor John Gilbert. Though Olivier would go on to achieve greatness in the future, this early Hollywood rejection left a mark on his career and showed how harshly the studio system could judge its actors. George C. Scott, fired for being late. George C. Scott, known for his intense performances and legendary role as General Patton, had built a solid reputation in Hollywood by the mid-1960s. However, in 1966, just as his career was soaring, Scott's tardiness on the set of How to Steal a Million led to a shocking firing. Director William Wyler, a stickler for punctuality, was furious when Scott showed up an hour late for the first day of filming. Wyler's reaction was swift and final. He fired Scott immediately. Despite pleas from the studio to reconsider, Wyler refused to budge. The drastic decision stunned Hollywood, as Scott was a highly respected actor, and the film was set to be a major project. Though Scott's career would remain intact in the long run, this firing became a pivotal moment in his career, highlighting the unforgiving nature of the industry when it came to personal conduct and professional responsibility. Robert Mitchum, fired for standing up for crew. Robert Mitchum, known for his tough guy roles in films like Cape Fear and Night of the Hunter, wasn't one to back down from a fight, on screen or off. During the production of Blood Alley in 1955, Mitchum took a stand that would cost him dearly. The film's production was marred by tense working conditions, with crew members reportedly not being provided basic hygiene necessities. Mitchum, a staunch advocate for the little guy, stepped up to confront the studio over these conditions, sparking a confrontation that escalated quickly. After a heated argument with the crew, Mitchum allegedly punched one of the workers, knocking him into the bay. Mitchum's behavior was deemed unacceptable, and he was fired from the film. Despite the drama, Mitchum stood by his actions, later claiming he was merely trying to protect the crew. The firing and the ensuing press coverage became a defining moment in Mitchum's career. Spencer Tracy, drunk on set and fired. Spencer Tracy, one of Hollywood's most revered actors, had a reputation for his brilliant performances, but his off-screen struggles often overshadowed his career. During the filming of Dante's Inferno in 1935, Tracy's behavior took a dramatic turn. The actor, known for his drinking, showed up to set intoxicated, leading to a confrontation with director Harry Lachman. Tracy's behavior escalated when he started a physical altercation, destroying props and setting off a violent tirade that left the set in chaos. The situation worsened when he continued to disrupt the production, despite warnings. Fox Studios, unable to tolerate Tracy's behavior any longer, decided to let him go. The firing was a shocking blow to Tracy, as his alcoholism had begun to threaten his career. Despite this setback, Tracy's star power eventually rebounded, and he would go on to win 2 Academy Awards, though his battles with alcohol remained a dark shadow. Clint Eastwood, fired for looking too unstarry. Clint Eastwood, now an iconic Hollywood figure, faced rejection early in his career due to what some executives deemed a lack of star quality. In 1959, Eastwood, then just starting out, was dropped by Universal Studios, which had signed him under a contract. The reason? His physical appearance. Executives complained that his Adam's apple stuck out too far, he spoke too slowly, and his look wasn't movie star material. In fact, Eastwood's entire package, his mannerisms, his appearance, and even his chipped tooth, were seen as obstacles to his success. Though the decision was harsh, it wasn't the end for Eastwood. His career would soon take a turn when he was cast as the man with no name in Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, and later became a legendary star in action in Western films. This early rejection was a testament to the superficial standards of Hollywood, which almost cost the industry one of its greatest. Loretta Young refused to dress down and fired by the late 1950s. Loretta Young was one of Hollywood's most glamorous and beloved stars, known for her beauty and elegance. However, her insistence on maintaining her image of sophistication would lead to an unexpected career setback. Young was cast in Anatomy of a Murder, 1959, a courtroom drama directed by Otto Preminger, but the director had a very different vision for her character. Preminger, known for his perfectionism, envisioned the female protagonist, Laura Mannion, as a more modest, down-to-earth woman, far from Young's usual glamorous roles. He wanted Young to wear simple, unremarkable costumes that reflected the character's small-town roots. But Young, unwilling to abandon her carefully cultivated Hollywood persona, refused to wear the plain wardrobe. Her defiance clashed with Preminger's artistic vision, and the studio ultimately sided with the director. She was fired and replaced by Lee Remick, highlighting how even Hollywood's most established stars could fall victim to the demands of the studio system. Larry Parks lost his career for refusing to name names. Larry Parks, a rising star in the late 1940s, seemed poised for a long career in Hollywood. After his breakout role in The Jolson Story, 1946, which earned him an Academy Award nomination, Parks was on track to become a major player. However, his career took a sharp nosedive due to the political climate of the early 1950s. During the height of the Red Scare, Parks was called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, UAC, for his past involvement with the Communist Party. While Parks admitted to his past affiliation, he refused to name any others who might have been involved. This principled decision was not welcomed by Hollywood's power brokers, who saw him as a liability. Columbia Pictures, his studio, swiftly dropped him, and Parks was blacklisted from major roles. His career, which had seemed so promising, was effectively destroyed by his moral stance, making his dismissal one of Hollywood's darkest chapters. Hollywood's golden age was full of shocking dismissals that exposed the industry's brutal side. Whether it was personal battles, artistic disagreements, or the pressure to conform, these stories reveal the fragile nature of stardom. These stars' careers were never the same, but their legacies continue to shape Hollywood today.